Now tuned into the greatest. Turn the music up in the headphones. Tim, you can go and brush your shoulders off. I got you. Yeah, if you feeling like a pimp, go and brush your shoulders off. Ladies is pimps too, go and brush your shoulders off. This is crazy, baby, don't forget that boy told you, kid. Yeah, turn up your shoulders. I probably owe it to you.
Oh, yeah, no, that's how you start a second episode of your podcast. Jay-Z, one of his classics, Dirt Off Your Shoulder. Like, that's one of those ones that whenever it comes on the Sirius or on my iPod, I just immediately start, like, moving and getting into it and remembering how much I enjoy that song. So I couldn't think of a better way to kind of tongue-in-cheek start the second episode of the Outlaw Nation podcast. Welcome, everybody. My name is John Rocha, the Outlaw, and I appreciate you guys tuning in for a second episode. And I got to tell you guys and gals, thank you so much for the amazing words that you all posted and tweeted and DM'd me and emailed me and commented. Like, so many positive messages from you guys supporting the show. You know, it was really nerve-wracking to kind of open myself up and talk about my experiences and talk about my life in that way, in that raw way that I did in the first episode. But you guys wanted an origin story. You guys seemed overwhelmingly wanted to find out, like, what was behind the whole thing of the Outlaw, behind the whole thing of John Rocha. And so to be able to do that for you all and to have it be received in such a positive way, in such a supportive way, I can't thank you enough, you know, and I want to send that back to you guys. Like, the stuff I said at the end of the first episode, like, I'm in the corner with you. Like, I know what the fight is like. I've been in the dark places. I know how hard it can be. So if this podcast, like, motivates you that little extra bit or pushes you to fight that little bit extra harder or gets you out of bed or, you know, gets you over feeling down or sad about something, then damn it, the podcast is worth it. That alone, you know, if one person is changed to, you know, do something more with their life or do something better or keep fighting, then it's been worth it. Just to do one episode. Even if I die tomorrow, it's been worth it. So thank you guys so much. And to read all your stories, it was so inspirational. You guys, sometimes you'll say to me like, oh, John, what you're doing, or Rocha, what you're doing is inspirational. I got to tell you guys, reading your stories is just as inspirational back. Like, hearing the stuff you guys are going through, hearing what you're trying to put together, hearing what you're trying to make in the world, like, that matters. You know, we get so lost sometimes thinking that we're all, like, kind of in our own individual journeys and no one really understands. But the truth is, there's so much that is common. There's way more things that we share in common as human beings than we share as differences. Like, we have more things in common than we have differences. And that's important, you know, especially now in this political climate, in this world climate where there's so much division and so much anger and so much fighting and so much quick to judgment and wanting to just vilify entire people for their religious beliefs or their color of the skin or their political beliefs. Like, it's good to take a moment, to take a step back, take a breath, you know, and just say, there's a lot that we share in common in our struggles, in our fight to be what we want to be, to put food on the table, not just for our families, but sometimes just for ourselves. And that matters, you know, and that matters. And so I appreciate you guys, you know, sending me the amazing messages of support that you have, and I'm glad we share so much in common. You guys know I've been talking about this now for the last week since the first episode dropped, that I have a very special guest this week, and that is the incomparable Matt Nosta, one of the funniest guys I know, and of course, he was my partner on the Top 10 show. Those of you who are fans of the Top 10 show, you are in for a treat. Matt and I sat down for, I think, over almost 90 minutes, and we just talk about all kinds of things, the NBA, the trailers for Blade Runner 2049, the new It trailer, rather, and then we do a mini review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which we, talked about and went over in the show, and we used to do that in the show. We used to review movies. You guys know that, who've been fans of the Top 10 show. Also, there's a spoiler for the Guardians. So we will tell you there's a spoiler alert at this time, and that way you can, like, either turn it down or fast forward. till we get to the next topic, so you don't have anything ruined for you if you have not seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Okay, my week has been crazy. A lot of stuff going on in my life, working at Universal Studios, auditioning at a callback for a commercial the other day where I totally shit the bed because it's been a while since I've done a commercial callback. I've been focusing on this hosting stuff so much that it's just been a while. So that is my life, and something really amazing is happening this weekend that I can't quite talk about yet. But if you follow me on social media, at The Rocha Says on Twitter or Instagram, then you'll definitely hear about what is happening. And it's an amazing event. And when this particular thing happens, I'm going to lose my mind. And it'll be a dream come true. So it's going to be something pretty awesome if it goes down and if it happens. So, all right, without further ado, let's get into it. The amazing, hilarious, very, very intelligent and unique way of looking at the world. My friend Matt Nosta coming up right after this musical break.
Less conversation, a little more action, please. All this aggravation ain't satisfaction in me. A little more bang, a little less spark. A little less bang, a little more spark. Close your mouth and open up your heart, and baby, satisfy me. Satisfy me, baby.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Outlaw Nation podcast, second episode. I am super stoked to once again introduce on a podcast one of the funniest men on the planet, one of the most knowledgeable film men on the planet, and he cooks a mean pizza, from what I understand. He cooks a lot of things.
I cook no pizza.
You don't cook any of the
Never
pizza?
cooked a pizza.
I thought you did.
I do not cook the pizzas, no. I make the furniture and do those types of things.
What you used to make a mean iced tea? What did you used to make for me when I come and get, used to make every once in a while, you'd make some kind of drink for me, like a mean iced tea, maybe?
Oh, yeah, we were at the time, doing like infused waters, different stuff like that.
That's right.
And then that just got to be a lot of work and just said, you know what? I'm just going to go back to, I like sparkling water, and I just buy the sparkling water.
Are you guys out of that phase now? Just sparkling water now.
Well, for me.
Is it colored? Is it flavored sparkling water or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I get Arrowhead because
Right.
there's no sodium in it.
Right.
So it's just CO2 and water.
That's your jam.
Yeah, that is my jam. And I like a lot of their flavors, but the orange is my personal favorite.
Yeah, orange is great.
The orange is good.
It's pretty fantastic.
Like the black cherry, you can convince yourself, but if you ever had it where the gas escapes and you just drink the water, it is brutal.
Yeah.
And now it colors my perception of it thereafter.
That's not a positive thing. So for those who don't know already, that is Matt Nosta. Yes.
Oh, I just want to say, on the way over, I had a smile on my face because we haven't done this in so long.
We haven't.
And we've done this a lot, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's sitting down to talk with John.
That's right.
We did this a lot for a long time. And sometimes we would let our egos go, and we go 90 minutes, 2 hours, 220.
That's true.
There's a couple that were pretty long.
Yeah, I don't know how long this one's going to go, but I know I wanted Matt to be like the main part of the show today because a lot of people have been clamoring for us to come back as Team Top 10 or come back as Top 10, rather. The Top 10 show, but that doesn't die. It's really interesting how many people are reaching out.
It was
constantly,
so good. 20 minutes before I left, you're like, hey, do you want to do a top 10 of this topic that is massive? And I was like, dude, I got 20 minutes. There's 200 films in that category. I mean,
true.
obviously,
That's
150 of them are gone, but there's still
just
50.
right off the bat.
Exactly, but 50 of them are like, well, I got to give some consideration here. And you're like, come on. I'm like, dude, I can't do it. I can't do it.
No, and we're recording this right after the Patriots beat Wolves of Steel. Shockingly enough, retained rather their title. And, of course, we crashed their interview, and as is our right, we earned our number one shot by beating the Schmoes again. And so now we take them on. What are your thoughts about the Team Communists? What are your thoughts?
Well, the thoughts go back to the reason we have to go through what we've had to go through is because somehow Schmoes were ranked higher than us.
Yeah, even though
you know
we
what I
beat
mean?
them. Yeah.
That's where this league is at. We're just like it's a lot of arbitrary at times to suit certain needs. And apparently the politics didn't work in our favor on that one.
Not on that one, no. But I think this is good that we're going to get them at a pay-per-view. Or essentially a pay-per-view event.
Are people putting down cash for this?
No.
Do I not know something?
I wish they were.
Are we getting a cut? There's like a winner's purse and
dude. I wish. I'm there every
UFC
Friday.
style like match of the night, and you get a bonus.
That'd be perfect.
That would be perfect.
Right? It'd be more incentive to TKO those fuckers.
I tell you, people's costumes would be a lot better at that point.
Well, true, but Brienne's doing a great job with her stuff.
That's true,
right?
A few people are crushing it so hard, and then
Yeah.
I'm lazy. I show up in a t-shirt and jeans, or
That's your style, man.
well, every once in a while, we were wearing nice
Yeah.
suit kind of stuff for a while.
We were doing that.
and I think the last couple we were just like, wear what's comfortable.
Yeah, because we know what we can do now. We don't need to show off. We walk into the set and we just kick ass.
I wouldn't mind going back to the suit at some point.
Yeah?
It's classy.
Maybe we'll wear the suit for the title.
Maybe.
It's certainly possible.
Maybe.
You look good. You look good in that
Listen.
suit, especially with the shades.
Jim Brown used to take a briefcase to the locker room.
Okay.
And reporters eventually asked him, he's like, why?
Yeah.
What do you need a briefcase for? And he's
Right.
like, listen, businessman shows up with this. This is my job.
Right.
I am here to do business.
Right.
So it's a mentality I'm bringing in and taking out. You're like, okay, all right, I can respect that.
Hey, this might not be a bad idea. We should show up with a couple of briefcases.
I thought about that. I looked on Craigslist a while back to find them. I couldn't find anything that was like what we wanted.
Oh, okay.
I had the thought like
What
6
do we
months
want?
ago.
What do we? What,
I was thinking like a nice lawyer's like leather briefcase.
yeah.
It looks business-like.
Yeah,
well, that's
yeah.
because I just have the Jim Brown quote in my head.
That would be awesome if we had nameplates. If we bring out nameplates,
Nameplates.
dude.
Nameplates.
That might be brilliant.
Oh.
We might have stumbled onto something brilliant, man. Just the name Esquire.
It seems like there should be something on the out, and then we can unclick it, and it unfolds, and then there's something on the inside too. Oh,
like
man.
a typewriter comes out.
I love this idea. This is a
Dude.
great idea.
We should hire somebody to also be our secretary and take notes right on the side of us. That'd
Sure.
be brilliant.
Like a stenographer, making sure
stenographer,
they
yes.
get all the brilliance down on paper. We have to give this to the Smithsonian one day. That's the thing. They're going to ask for it. We need it for the National Archives.
Once it's put together. All right. Well, you guys know I wanted Matt to come on the show because I wanted us to like kind of just catch up, talk about stuff. And so one of the things that Christian pushed, he wants us to talk about the Schmoedown stuff. So let's just get into that now, and then we can get past it and move on to this other stuff that I want to talk
The
about.
burden. Damn you, Orloff.
He wants us to cover our rise in the Schmoedown. Like, do you remember like when we first started? Like, I was a mess. You were so you were so chill. But I was constantly drinking bourbon and Diet Coke just to calm myself down.
Well, let's not make it out to like you're some jittery depression-era alcoholic who's just like, just fumbling because life has gone so horribly and you should have jumped in 29.
For you kids, 1929 was when the stock market collapsed.
It did. It's you either jumped or you lived through the poverty of the
That's
Great
right.
Depression.
You're eating
You
boot
made a
soup.
choice, and now you're regretting that choice. You should have jumped. That
That's
day
right.
has passed. You would have like one, maybe two to like settle your nerves. You take the
would.
second one if you had a second one out with you.
Yes.
And like kind of sip on it. It's not like you were getting housed.
No.
Or
Because I
any-
wouldn't be able to focus.
No, you
If I
just
was
like
drunk.
calm your nerves a little bit.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But you were always so chill because I was always like, I'm worried. And you're like, what for? What for? Just relax. It's a tool. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to know the answer. You're not going to know the answer. I'm
Right.
not going to put undue pressure. I got enough to worry about in my life. This is not going to be one of them.
For real.
For
Like,
real.
For real stuff. Yeah.
Oh, well, and I think also, though, that mirrors your rise and had the championship.
Yes, true.
And I've forgotten easy stuff because maybe I should be studying
Oh, yeah.
and going back and rewatching old movies and stuff like that.
Well, I think because we stopped the show, it might have affected your knowledge of like having stuff more readily available to you than normally.
I think it's more the progression of time.
Okay.
And
You
my
mean
brain-
saying getting old?
Yeah.
You're trying to say getting old.
It just, I forget things now. It's already happening.
That's right.
That's the worst. Before
Yeah.
John and I started, I stretched for
You
45
did.
seconds.
You did.
Because I know if I'm going to sit for long enough, it's probably a good idea to limber up the muscles. Otherwise, something might hurt.
That's right.
It sucks.
Man, dude, I know. We don't want to depress the people. So when we started, we were, who did we face first? Do you remember who we faced first?
Screen Junkies, I believe.
Was it Screen Junkies?
Yeah.
It was, oh yeah, because it was what, Hal
It was Hal and
Nick Mundy.
Yep.
And we wiped him out because Nick didn't know crap about 80s movies or whatever
I know.
it was.
You would think that was supposed to be one of his strong suits.
Yeah, yeah.
At least so I was told rather.
Right. That's why I was so surprised. And then, like, people didn't think we had people didn't know us. They didn't think we had a shot. But Matt and I, like, we have a cocky feeling about movies. Like, we both think we know a lot about movies, which is why we enjoyed doing the Top 10 show. And so when we started doing the competition, we had to kind of win a couple to kind of get, like, just kind of get that feeling of what the competition's going to be about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think beating Merle and Riley really solidified us in people's minds. Like, oh, shit, these guys are for real.
Yeah.
And then we lost to fucking Finstock and JT.
And I remember Riley missed 8-Legged Freaks.
Yes.
As soon as halfway through the question, I was like, I know this answer.
Yeah.
This is easy.
Yeah.
Just because this is all anyone knows about this movie.
Right.
It's just terrible.
He surprises me sometimes when he doesn't know certain things. Like the 2 times I beat him, he didn't know these 2 Malcolm X movies, and I was shocked. And he almost lost the chance of the belt. He almost lost the chance because he didn't remember Jack Black until the last second for the King Kong Shark's Tail thing, which really sucked. I would have had my title. Oh, anyway. So then what? Then we lost. Then we went back, and then we faced the Schmoes, right? We faced the Schmoes, didn't we?
Schmoes third in that one?
Right, because the Schmoedown was done. Like we lost in the semifinals.
Well, yeah, we lost to JT and Finstock.
And they went on and they lost to the Schmoes.
Finstock was like, that's the one movie that I've seen a lot of.
Right,
You're like,
right.
Really? Sideways.
Sideways
of all. And he's like, yeah, it's just one of those. It's just, I've seen it a lot. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I've seen it 1.5 times, 2 times.
Yeah, at tops.
Yeah.
I'd have accepted Basketball or some other drunken film.
I've seen Basketball.
So I was shocked that he knew Sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom doesn't strike me as a wine drinker.
Nope.
At all.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure he would boast about he knows the best wines.
Right, of course.
My guess is that guy couldn't tell a $2 bottle from a $200 bottle.
No. It's all the same when they throw it in the back of the dumpster and he's drinking it out of there. Then we faced the Schmoes, and we beat the Schmoes. We took the title. We TKO'd them.
We took what was rightfully ours.
That's right. And then we had an unfortunate meeting with the Patriots. But that was what we talked about, right? That was like your worst game, but we still almost won.
Yeah.
That tells you how powerful we are as a team.
I missed 3 or 4 questions that I knew.
Yeah.
And some I was just like, you know what? First answer, boom, bang, I know this.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I kept doing it. I remember at one point, I was so lost in the fact that my head was wherever it was.
Yeah.
And you answered a question, I wasn't even paying attention. It was when we were 2. I was just so pissed at myself.
Round 2,
That's the first time I've ever, like, any of the pressure. It wasn't even the pressure. It was just like I was having one of those days and I was frustrated with myself.
Yeah.
Of just being an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, you could just... That's another thing with getting older. Some days I just have bad days. It's the worst.
It's true. Some days you wake up, you feel like you can conquer the world. And other days,
yeah.
When I lost to Riley, I was not in the right headspace. Like, for whatever reason, I could not get into that headspace. And some days it's just like that, man.
The free-for-all?
Oh.
The next day,
dude.
I came down with the flu for the first time, and I can't remember.
Oh,
so
shit.
I was having, because that day I felt kind of groggy.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just tired or something.
Yeah.
And I was in bed for 5 straight days and then had to get on a plane and go to Napa because my brother got married and come back here. And basically it lasted for almost 3 weeks.
Wow.
Just because it was the 5 days and then I had to go on the trip and my
Right.
body was spent. And then it just took forever to go away. Just slowly. I got like 5% better every day. There was no jump. It was like, oh, this is brutal, man. But this is a fun podcast. We're starting off talking about what ails us. People got to love this. God, I miss these guys. They're depressing as hell.
I forgot how depressing they are about their lives.
Maybe you too should jump.
All right, what else do we want to talk about? Is there anything else to talk about on the Schmoedown? I feel like we've covered it.
No, yeah, we got our,
We've got our shots at the title.
we got our shot coming up.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so am I, man.
Let's see if we can get this briefcase idea up and off the ground.
I like this
We
idea.
just got to find them.
Yeah.
Then we got to find classy nameplates.
Dude, we can get that done.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody listening will send us a couple of nameplates and do it for us. Hint, 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 hint.
Yeah, but we don't even know what we want on them, so now we need a turnaround job pretty quick.
Do you want Matthew Knost, Esquire? I would like John Stephen Rocha, Esquire. Or the Outlaw, Esquire. The Outlaw, Esquire, yes.
Yeah, but John Stephen Rocha sounds like almost like a law firm.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
It's a 3-part name. I mean, it's not as good as the other people. Oh shit, what's the running back's name? The law firm played for the Patriots. And I think it went over to the Bengals.
Ben Hill Foster, something like that. Right?
Yeah, it was a 3. Was it Contavious Caldwell Pope? No,
that's a basketball
player.
Yeah,
I do that
KCP.
a lot. Yeah.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
Damn it, the law firm. It's close though. John Stephen Rocha, Esquire, sounds like an attorney.
That's Matthew Knost does too.
Yeah, but at the same time, because you got the trifecta, like the bing, Esquire, it just seems,
I don't even want to spell that. I want ESQ. That's all.
Of course,
ESQ, right?
Of course.
It's fun.
Listen,
great.
It's a classy operation. And you abbreviate that. Yes, we need our names fully spelled out, but time is money.
That's right.
So after you get off my name, we can abbreviate the rest.
We got to talk after that because we got to get it going. We got to get this appointment going. Yeah, we're gonna kill the Patriots. I'm so driven to destroy them, Matt. I want to TKO the fuck out of them. I wake up in the morning and I'm just like, I can't wait. When is this match? Let's make it happen.
No, the best part is it's true. I know you.
Yeah. Oh,
At the start of that sentence, when you're like, I want to destroy, you looked at some place off on the wall instead of making eye contact and zoned in on whatever place you've thought of.
Yeah.
You're just double fisting, smashing heads or something.
You know what's crazy is I've started going to this Buddhist center over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
It's
chanting.
taken.
Chanting.
It is taken.
So I'm staring at a thing on the wall because that's what they tell you to do when you're chanting the Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. You're chanting that and you're trying to envision positive things for your life. So for me, I'm envisioning destroying the Patriots. That's my positive thing.
That's your positive thing. And in another life, you were Genghis Khan.
That's
my
right.
friend.
Help me, Buddha. Help me kill these guys. Anyway, all right. So that's good for the Schmoedown stuff. We might touch base on it a little bit. I also wanted, Matt suggested that we do some reviews. Do you want to get into Guardians? Did you go see it?
Yeah.
Volume 2. What did you think? What
Saw
did you
it yesterday.
feel? Oh, you did? Good.
Yeah.
What did you think? So it's fresh in your mind.
It's very fresh in my mind.
Okay.
When'd you see it?
I saw it on Friday.
Okay.
Or Thursday night, but it's still fresh in my mind. I loved it. But
So did
told
I.
me. Yeah?
So did I. Going into it, I try to, once again, steer clear of reviews and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And just go see it.
Yeah.
It was better than I expected. There were certain things that I didn't like about it.
Okay.
But the positives so outweighed. I was like, I can't believe this isn't a higher rated film.
Right.
If you go to Rotten Tomatoes, it's in the 80s or something. This was easily a 93, 94 to me.
Yeah, me too, man. I don't want to spoil too much, right? Because people might still be not having seen it. It's only been out for a week.
Sure.
But still, I really enjoyed it. And people are like, is it better than the first? And I can't even compare them because to me, it feels like they're two separate films and they're enjoyable in their own way for their own things.
Yeah.
And I don't want to compare the first film because the first film is kind of like an origin story. The second film should stand on its own as an adventure story that also is laying the groundwork for the characters, And so to me, I enjoyed that very much.
It did that. Man, this is tricky to talk about without spoiling.
Yeah.
This is very tricky. It did that very well. I really don't want to say too much.
Okay.
Because I enjoyed what the characters did.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Right.
This is so vague.
Yeah.
Because that's every movie. What you like? I enjoyed what the characters did.
And then when the person said that to the other person, it was great.
I loved that moment. That was my favorite moment.
Best moment ever.
I like the choices they made for the arcs of all the characters.
Yes, agreed.
And I like the way the story interwove and how they played around with that.
Yeah.
I loved the opening.
Yeah. So surprised by how great that was.
Because of the juxtaposition of the character
that
you see a lot of.
Right.
Versus
all the stuff that's going on behind the character.
Yeah. But there's the reason for that is, why don't we just put a spoiler warning, mark the time, and then say, hey, if you want to, because this is so difficult.
All right, I'll put a spoiler warning. So was a spoiler alert from here going forward, and then we'll tell you I'll put a timestamp on the YouTube thing and on the iTunes thing to let people know when to tune back in if they haven't seen the movie yet. So from here forward.
Sorry, I don't want to create more work for you.
No, it's fine. I don't mind doing it.
Look, I've done it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's not a big deal.
Do you need to mark the time on that? It makes it easier later on.
Well, I'll be listening to it anyway.
Okay.
Knowing me, knowing the way I am. All right. So, spoiler alert from here on out, and let's talk about it. Okay, go.
The opening. So with Baby Groot.
Yes.
In the foreground, and while all this, I love that they open a movie, the frivolity of this huge action sequence, and we're putting it in the background, but they're doing it for a great reason. Right before that, when Chris Pratt is talking to Gamora, and he's like, "You're doing the gun thing now?
Right.
That's what I do."
Right.
It really sets it up nicely for thereafter. We know what all those characters do. What does Baby Groot do?
Right.
How does it exist in this world?
Right.
And to focus on that, because you know what everybody else can do. They're badasses,
Yeah.
and they're going to take care of this thing. It's fine.
Exactly.
And let's have fun with this. It's a great introduction to the characters. So from that moment on, I was like, what a brilliant way to open.
Yeah.
And it's interesting and it's unique.
Yeah.
Because at first I thought, because they go into the microbial, not the microbial, but the intercellular life of that plant.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is this going to be like every X-Men opening where it goes through the cell and
Right.
the sparks of... And I was like, oh, fuck.
Directed by Bryan Singer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was waiting for.
Right. Did you enjoy like the progression of the father stuff with both Kurt Russell and Yondu? Like that was so surprising.
Yeah.
How touching that was.
The Yondu, I think, pivoted really quickly.
Yeah.
That's like the Russell you see coming and it makes
Yeah,
sense, and I loved that arc.
Yeah.
The Yondu just like, oh yeah, well, okay, he's a nice guy,
Right.
and then he gets this, hero send off,
Yeah.
which was nice.
It was nice.
It was earned.
I can't believe they played Cat Stevens. That song, I'm so mad they played that song.
Why?
Because that's one of those songs I play
Did
when
you
my
start
dad
crying?
died. Yeah, I absolutely started crying because it's like, you're just young. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
It's not time. It just goes right into it, man.
I couldn't believe, as soon as I heard the notes, I was like, fuck you, James Gunn. Fuck
You're
you.
a boy, I'm a man. It's like, oh man.
But I did you like the progression of Nebula? Her thing of like becoming like letting Gamora know that she just wanted to be sisters. Did you like that?
It's a great reason for the hatred.
Yeah, right.
It's a great motivation.
It's understandable. The sibling
You
rivalry thing.
identify with both of them, which
Yeah.
is difficult to do. The only thing I think they really dropped with her is her biting into the fruit and saying it's not ripe.
It's ripe. Yeah,
Because had they done it later,
yeah.
I don't know. At that point, that just felt like I knew that at that point they're making two choices: either they're lazy with the character, or
Right.
they need us to sympathize with her because why make her likable?
Yeah, right.
So it was like, all right, so they're trying to make her likable.
Yeah.
But the joke just fell so flat for me, at least.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things I brought up earlier when we were being nondescript. Of
Yeah.
there were things I didn't like about it.
Yeah.
They went too hard on the jokes at certain points.
Agreed.
But had you changed this or that, I don't know if, you got to let them be them.
Yeah.
To make this kind of movie.
Yeah,
So
and-
it's just like, that's fine. That's an easy trade-off for me.
Exactly, and people were complaining that it was like, halfway through or whatever. Like the reason they have issues with the movie is that they separate the Guardians into separate teams. I'm like, but it's enough time into the movie that the separation works for me. I didn't have an issue with that.
No.
Them breaking them up and having them do separate stuff. That happens all the time. You have a big team.
But it fosters the eventual end of them coming back together.
Exactly.
They had to go their separate ways.
Right.
That's what I love. Also, Chris Pratt gets met up with his father who's
Yeah.
never met, who is named Ego and
Yeah.
is a planet. And that is one of the things that's dividing these guys right now, are their egos.
Exactly.
So to take off and split the team when they come back and Rocket has to realize that he is like, Yondu,
Right.
and see like the humanity in others and whatnot and help them like grow. They did a fantastic job.
Yeah, and they also did a great job, I thought, with the Kurt Russell stuff, because it was like you felt this like sympathy for him, and then you realize he's been fucking the whole planet. Like he's been fucking for universes. Like he's got a shit ton of babies all over the place. There's nothing special about him as his dad, at all.
But once he takes over all those worlds, then he basically turns into the villain from Doctor Strange.
Yes,
That
that
he's just
guy.
consuming worlds.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this is the only way.
right.
He's got to feed on everything that he takes over. So he takes
Exactly.
over all these simultaneous planets.
You know, it was an Easter egg in the film that I didn't know. When that black blob is taking over the Earth, when it stops, the truck that gets hiked up like that, that's what's his face? That's Peter's stepfather in the truck. The actor who played the stepfather in the first movie, who's there with the mom when she's dying of cancer. It's that actor who's in Payback. He's been in a shit ton of movies.
yeah.
He's actually the guy in the truck.
Really?
Yeah, with his new wife or new girlfriend or whatever, and because it's like because apparently it's like 10 years later, 30 years later. Obviously, since Peter was taken, it's a while since Peter was. So he's older. They didn't make it. So when I go back and see it again, I'm going to try to find him, because I read this thing on one of the websites that has all the Easter eggs in the movie. About
Okay.
it. Yeah, because like at the end when Stallone. By the way, how great was that? Holy shit!
That's the thing. I like Stallone in ensemble.
Yeah.
So this is fine.
Yes.
This is fine. If it was Stallone and like just a lieutenant,
Right.
and they had but like the fact that they put him in a group shot, and be
Yeah.
like, okay, this is a buddy thing they're setting up.
Well, the rumors are they're going to spin that off into a separate thing.
Of course.
Because that's the original Guardians of the Galaxy at the end. They got together with Stallone. Those are the original Guardians from the comics.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this is the second generation.
Right, the one we see now with our Star-Lord and Gamora.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the second generation or second iteration, whatever you want to say. And this is like, that is like a shout-out to the comics, because that's the original people. And the guy who's all crystal and glass, that's Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor on Smallville.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And the head, the separated head,
Yeah.
it's voiced by Miley Cyrus. Yeah, they did a whole kind of adjustment with her voice, but so you couldn't recognize it. So it was chill. And then Ving Rhames obviously is there, and Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
And so there's a rumor that they're going to spin that off and have them be like the Ravagers movie or whatever.
It's the only reason. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, this might be another movie.
Absolutely.
Because why would you have these caliber of guys doing cameos for people you don't know?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Did you dig the Sovereign stuff with the gold ladies and all that the video games?
Sure.
Stuff? Yeah? You enjoyed that, right?
Sure.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was something different. What I liked about this is there was, the villain almost to me was the curse of a second movie.
Yes.
So they weren't doing the normal tropes of, they kind of went inward and explored the characters a little bit more.
Right.
And now in the next one, they're going to have some huge epic battle.
Exactly. Well, they're going to be an Infinity War or whatever with Thanos and everything. That's what I liked about the movie too, Matt. They established the characters so that now going forward, we don't have to have any more time character building. We don't need to have it. It'll happen, but we don't need to have it to the extent that we had it in this movie. They did this so that you would be connected with these characters, understand their connection, and solidify that so that when they go into action, go into battle, and they do what they're doing, you get why they're doing what they're doing with each other.
Yeah.
But
I think also too, it's given lifeblood to the overall series because now they can do these.
Yeah.
Like, so say the next one is 2 pictures that build to an arc.
Right.
At the third picture, they have something like this.
Yeah.
Where the team is now hurt and they've been through so much
Yeah.
and they can do another movie like this and kind of, and it sets up this next 2 to 3.
Exactly.
They could keep with like the fact that they got away with it, not got away with it, but we're so successful with it.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's extend. Let's enjoy the characters. If
Absolutely.
you could churn out something like this consistently.
Yeah. You'll be good to go.
Yeah.
All right. So that we good. Like I think we're good talking about it, right? We're done.
Sure.
Yeah. Is there any
It's your
more
show.
you want to say about it?
It's your show.
No. But is there
do
any more
whatever
you want to say?
to.
No. But is there any more you want to say about it?
I could keep going.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
What more do you want to say?
The Mary Poppins joke was
Oh
excellent.
man,
Was excellent.
I used it on Movie Talk the next day.
Did you?
Yeah. As soon as they introduced me, they're like, and also joining us, John Seaver. I was like, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. That was just brilliant.
I can't imagine looking at that on the page.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have the first movie, writing out like that line, like
Yeah.
and to do it and just
Nail it.
sell it, such a great joke.
Yeah. Michael Rooker, like, the thing that I love about certain actors, man, is they'll start out and they're like leads in certain films. They'll establish themselves, but then they kind of get lost in these straight to DVD films. Because you got to work, you got to pay bills, you got to do whatever.
You're not as in demand for whatever reason.
No, but every once in a while you pop up in certain films and you deliver A-list performance. And he's been fantastic from the first film and the second film, and the send off they give him. Man, I'm just like, this is well deserved for an actor who's been in our lives for decades. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with Stallone. Having Stallone show up, I was like really happy to see him because it was the right time in his life to show up in a movie like this and be able to like those exchanges with him and Rooker.
Yeah,
like those are legitimate emotional exchanges. He was really acting, saying the weird shit that he has to say, but that's a good actor.
Yeah,
he infuse it with meaning.
You'll never fly the colors of Gondolar.
Like Graftar's hammer.
Okay, exactly. It's like, all right, this is too much. I realize you need to like adhere to the source material and drop a little bit in there.
Yeah.
I get it, but maybe cut one of the two, or give the other one. You'll never fly the colors, or get the horns of Belshazzar. And you're like, okay.
The horns of Balthazar Getty. The horns of Balthazar.
Beautiful. I'll take it. I'll take a Estelle Getty. I'll take any Getty you got. Give me something I recognize.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Estelle Getty. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's enough to talk about for Guardians of the Galaxy. Guys, go see it. Well, obviously, Matt and I liked it. So, this we used to.
Yeah. It's like a 94 to me.
Yeah.
It's a solid movie.
In the 90s. Absolutely, man. Like a friend of mine went to see it at 11 a.m. this morning. He reached out. I was like, do you want to come with me to go? And I would have totally gone if we hadn't already scheduled to record.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it again. Did you see the trailers? Did you see the trailers? I want to talk about these last 2 trailers. Blade Runner 2049 and then the It trailer. What do you think about the Blade Runner trailer?
I liked it. I need to revisit Blade Runner before I see it.
Oh, it's not one of your favorites, so you go back to over
I
and
like
over
it.
again.
I've seen it a few times, but I haven't seen it, and I don't know the last time I saw it.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, like 8 years ago, 10 years ago.
Okay.
Something like that. It's been a while.
Okay. You know what might be interesting that occurred to me right now? Now, we may not do the top 10 show, or we have a version probably coming out, but like we could do commentaries, man. Things are becoming like commentary tracks. We could sit down and watch a movie and it'd be like an addendum to the Outlaw Nation podcast or something or whatever. But I don't know what your time is like.
Do you want to do like a...
I'll have to buy you dinner or some shit.
Spitball the idea. Do
Okay.
Chipotle. You don't have to go big on me. I like Chipotle.
That's right.
If you got Freebirds down here, I like Freebirds.
What's Freebirds?
Or you got a good... It's another Chipotle. Like
Okay.
Qdoba.
Okay.
Or if you got a good
Oh,
sandwich
Qdoba.
shop, I like a good sandwich.
Okay.
I'm a cheap date.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get steaks, we can get steaks, but I'm just as happy getting some roast beef.
If we're doing steaks, then we're doing an epic. We're doing Lawrence of Arabia or some
That's
shit. 4-hour fucking epic.
What you could do it
Yeah.
was like, okay, starting the podcast, get your DVD or
Yeah,
your
yeah,
streaming
exactly,
set up. We're starting
exactly.
the movie.
And now.
5,
Right.
4, 3, 2, 1, boom,
Yeah.
if you want to watch along.
Well, that's what people have been doing. So I've watched this happen a couple of times, and now it just occurred to me, like, it'd be fun for us to, like, kind of every once in a while do one of these things where we do a special, like, episode and do a commentary track for a watch along for a film.
Okay.
And have a good time. So we'll see. Yeah?
Sure.
All right.
Let me know.
So I love the trailer. I really, because I'm a massive fan of the film. I watch it all the Time. I know Mance's favorite film, period.
Is it?
Yeah. And so to see it again, to see the way they use the score from the original film, to see Jared Leto, like he looks almost like a replicant, maybe. They see the creation of a replicant or their version of a replicant at that time.
Yeah, being birthed.
Yeah, being birthed. I thought it was really cool. The visuals were just fantastic, man. The cinematography, all of it just puts you back into the noir feeling of that time. of the original.
Look, was it Villeneuve?
Yeah, Denis Villeneuve, yeah.
Villeneuve.
Yeah, Villeneuve.
He has done no wrong in our eyes.
Yeah, he really hasn't.
He has to, I mean,
Did you like Arrival?
yeah,
Yeah, I loved Arrival.
loved it.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, there are still questions thereafter. And
Sure.
a friend of mine hated it, and I was like, listen, I understand your critique of it.
Right.
I still think your critique is wrong.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Anybody criticizes that film.
Well, his was from just like some of the science and the time aspects later on. And I was like, yes, I will grant you
Fine.
that one thing, but I can explain it in 2 different ways over here.
Hey, do you like Star Wars? Let me show you some time issues with Star Wars.
Well, but that's not, predicating itself on the real world.
I guess.
It's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. What does that mean? That's a lot of
That's true.
vagueness.
That is a lot of vagueness.
Yeah, like our movie reviews when you get spoiled. I like what they did with the characters in the movie.
Yeah,
that's
me
what
too.
I'm just.
Me too. There we go. I like when that person said that.
Uh-huh.
And then the ending was great.
Oh, the best.
The best. But no, I think they've struck the right chord with that trailer, and for people who are massive
It does.
fans of Blade Runner, I think you
It
can't be
has-
nothing but excited.
Very much the feel of the original.
Yes.
Although this one now, from what we've seen,
Yeah.
at least there's a more arid setting somewhere, so it's not constantly raining.
Right.
So it's another part of basically instead of being this dystopia
Yeah.
city, it's this we've destroyed the land around us, perhaps, or wherever the progresses. It looked really interesting.
Yeah. Well, I like the imagery of him being out in the, as you said, the arid land, because he's kind of out in the desert. He's been out of society.
Yeah.
So out in the desert is great symbolism, as opposed to all the rain in the city, which you saw over and over again. And I love that they keep the visuals of
Like Atari?
Yeah, all of that, but also the figures, like the actresses or the images that they're like reaching out and touching you. Like they had it in the first movie where they had people talk, like they had the Asian ladies talking all through the stuff. I love that they kept all of that, and the spinners are back, all of that. So, and the Edward James Olmos is in the cast, so Hung is coming back.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so that's going to be great to see him.
God, I
Rachel.
haven't seen almost since like Battlestar.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
What's he been in?
That makes sense. Yeah, I haven't seen him in much else either. But Sean Young's not coming back because she screwed herself over. Yeah,
I think. Does anybody want to work with Sean Young ever again? Ever?
Yeah, she's so. Sometimes I think people are just don't understand how to read the land. You know what I'm saying? Or read the room, because she went off on the fact that like they didn't talk to her about it last year or 2 years ago when they were killed, and so she like went on Twitter or Instagram and was telling people to like boycott the film.
Of course,
she did.
did.
What's wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you? And then she said she talked to Ridley Scott and he didn't mention it, so I didn't want to mention it because he didn't mention it. It's like you haven't been relevant in 30 years. What is wrong with you?
It's because of this attitude.
Yeah, exactly.
Who the hell wants to hang around with you if you just think you should have like?
Right.
Everybody's lucky to be doing what they're doing.
Exactly.
Why don't you act like it?
Exactly. And there's a separation. Like, I get it. Like some people are like, well, women get abused or women get mistreated in the business. Abso-fucking-lutely. But the other way is not to go and be completely like a thorn bush the whole time. Like Katherine Heigl's doing that to her career now. She's doing shitty fucking revenge movies like Irreversible or Unforgettable, whatever that stupid shit is that's out now. She's done. She's finished. No one watches her shows. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sadly, between those two.
Yeah.
One of them is true, irreversible.
Yeah.
And then the other is not true. What was the second one?
Unforgettable?
Unforgettable.
It's not
it's utterly forgettable.
Okay, it is unforgettable. That's right.
I hope it's irreversible.
All right. So what do you think about that?
I think it's more so on that issue. It's just they're both purported to be shitty people.
Yeah, true. That's true, too.
So anybody that's a shitty person, like if Robert Downey Jr. was a shitty person instead of when he was going through all those terrible things, everybody was still going, trust me, he's a good guy.
Yep.
Every single person.
Yep.
And once he got rid of that crap, now he's the king of Hollywood.
That's right.
So just if he was a jerk on top of doing those things and he had exiled himself and distanced, like just burned every bridge, then he'd be in the same place as they would be.
Yeah.
On the outside yelling to get in.
I just think some people are built to handle that kind of situation. Some people aren't.
Yeah.
For whatever reasons. And so, I hate when they try to hide themselves in the shield of, whatever. The shield that they put up. It just bothers me. All right. The It trailer. Did you see that?
Saw both of them.
Oh, man. Did you read the book? Are you? Okay.
And I own the double VHS of the TV movie.
Of the Richard Thomas DVD with John Boy?
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
Man.
It's the only book I've ever been scared reading.
Wow.
It's the only one.
Wow.
And I've read a few other Kings.
Right.
Needful Things, Dolores Claiborne. I didn't read The Stand.
Okay.
And I didn't read the Dark Tower series.
Did you read The Dead Zone?
No, I read Nightmares and Dreamscapes, which is like a bunch of short stories.
Yeah, the Bachman stuff.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah, it is. I agree. And then there was another. What was the other one? The Shining. Did you read The Shining?
No, I didn't read Misery. I think I only read like 5 of his or 4 of his.
Gotcha.
But I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, to this day, there are still scenes from the book that I can conjure in my mind because they were so evocative. And there's also like that book takes some weird turns.
Yes, it does.
It takes some weird turns. There's in the lead up to this, because I saw the trailers and I just seen some articles online. I had forgotten about one, and another one they bring up is like, I remember that one, and that one weirded me the hell out.
Yeah.
And I forgot about this other one. It was like, that weird little King had. I mean, apparently the reason like that it is a shapeshifter is he wanted to fit all his demons in one book.
Yeah.
So the idea that one character could be any demon.
Yeah.
Just whatever your greatest fear is. You're like, oh my God. Can you imagine being... I was 16 when I read it.
Oh, God.
15 or something? How old were you?
I was 18 when I read it.
18?
Yeah. Because I went through a whole run of King's books for like 2 years.
What else did you read?
Sphere. Oh, no, sorry. That's Mike Crichton. Sorry. The Shining, Dead Zone, Dolores Claiborne, Misery. By the way, Needful Things, great book. They fucked that movie up, but it's a great book.
It's a really interesting book.
Yes.
Having the devil in your city.
Yeah, and it was his way at the time. I remember it being his last novel in Derry or Maine or whatever it was going to be. It was pitched that way, and of course, I don't think that held true. He ended up going back.
Why? Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. But
Kisses had how many retirement tours?
Okay.
Sugar Ray Leonard came out of retirement how many times?
That's true. Brett Favre.
Yeah,
that's true.
You don't want to leave.
Yeah, no, you don't want to hold. You want to hold on like Jordan does. Jordan did. So I went through a whole string of those, and the Richard Bachman stuff, which I really enjoyed. And,
okay.
Yeah, so I went through a whole thing, but I didn't read like Tommy Knockers. I didn't read that. And
did you read Christine?
I did read Christine, but I didn't enjoy Christine as much. There were some of his, because once you hit certain level, it's hard to come down. Do you know what I'm saying? Once you enjoy some of his greatest work, it's hard to come down and read the kind of lesser work. Not lesser in terms of quality, lesser in terms of comparison. And it's really hard to read that sometimes.
I bought The Stand. I never read it.
Oh, yeah. The Stand is like 9,000 pages.
Yeah.
Man. It's no joke.
At the time I got it, a couple years later, I read a few books that were like 2,200 pages, 2,500 pages. Wow. Yeah. And they take... it takes 250 pages to get into because they have to set up so much story. So you just have to barrel through a lot of setup. And then once it breaks, it's really, it's excellent. There's a reason that a publisher is willing to kill that many trees. You know what I mean? They only have so much they can do. We're going to kill this many trees this year. We're going to devote a lot of it to this.
Yeah.
I should have read more because it was unlike almost any other book I've ever read.
Period.
He creates a world.
Yeah.
But the 2 trailers.
Yeah, man.
I've watched breakdowns of the trailers.
Oh, okay.
Well, the first one at least. I haven't seen. I've just seen the second one.
Right.
But like the fact that when he slowly rises up, Pennywise, out of the water,
Good God, dude.
when you watch it, there is no reflection of his eyes. There's a reflection of everything else but his eyes. And they're those glowing, captivating things now, which makes the character, with that subtle little tweak,
Yeah.
so fucking scary. So scary.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
I think the kids are great too that they cast,
Mm-hmm.
and so to me, all of it is hitting the right chords because that TV movie, for a TV movie, was incredibly scary.
they managed to get quite a bit just
Yeah.
in the simple little Pennywise rears his head back in the needle sharp teeth.
Yeah,
That alone, you're like, oh,
right.
this thing can do anything it wants. I forgot about that. Just the, I mean, he manifests himself as a wolf man.
Yeah,
What are some of the others? I mean, he comes up through the drain.
Yeah.
There's that creepy house, which I've seen in both trailers
Yep,
now.
yep.
So that I don't like that.
nope.
Don't go in.
It's all of it is there, man. That's the thing. In that new trailer, you see it's almost like a whole scene from a movie because they don't really cut that much.
Yeah.
You just walk into the whole drain and you're like walking. And I grew up around that kind of shit. I would walk through that stuff in Virginia. You could walk in there and see like
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You would walk through the concrete drains with your friends to see what you could find down there and shit like that. Oh yeah, man. When you're young, you go exploring. You think you're invincible, but then like. Jeez, what the fuck was that?
I don't know if it's a weed eater or it's just a small like motorbike.
Sounds like a farting motorcycle, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was weird.
Out of nowhere.
But anyway, you go in there and what you do is like you go from left to right, like you don't step in the water, you go from left to right on the concrete.
Sure.
Like, yeah, so you don't step on the water. And,
Little American Ninja Warrior.
yeah, exactly.
You just
exactly.
jumping over the water.
It's a lot of fun.
Doing
man.
training for parkour as a kid. You just didn't know it.
Parkour. So, but I think the trailers hit the right notes, and I can't wait to see what's. I'm almost scared to see it, to be honest with you, because
I'm starting
good
to.
horror fucks me
And
up.
I already know the entire story.
Yeah.
But the fact that they've already they've only shown you so much,
Yeah.
which is excellent.
Yes.
I don't need to see.
Exactly.
I don't know, because it doesn't. There are no shots of them as older.
Yeah.
So
Not
it's all
yet.
kids.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So are they separating into two movies?
I don't know. I think so. I think they are, or they're waiting to show the second part of the movie in another trailer later on down the road.
I hope not.
Yeah, I think they're doing two different. I think they're doing two movies.
It's smarter.
Yeah.
There's so much to do.
Yeah.
You don't need to flash forward and back. It was
Exactly.
good for the TV movie
Right.
because this thing's going to be split over nights.
Right.
And you need to remind people at certain points, yeah, this was going on, and
Yeah.
this is what the kids went through, and now they're adults.
Right.
Yeah, it's the adults part of that movie that in the TV movie that
Yes.
falls apart just because they can't really get too
Right.
dark.
Right. Well, that's why you cast Richard Thomas and John Ritter. You don't cast guys who can get really fucking dark, you know. And those guys are good actors. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah, what do you-
they're not going to get the depths of hell in their soul, you know. That book really does.
How dare you? John Ritter is a national treasure.
I apologize to
I
all
know,
you
yeah,
John Ritter fans. I apologize. But Tim Curry did as the clown. Holy crap!
Yeah, it was excellent. I've even over the years,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the behind the scenes where they're doing mock-ups for the character.
Yeah.
And its progression over the years, and
It's nuts.
I am a huge fan.
Yeah.
So at this point, I think I might go on because this is more trailers, but I already know the story backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
So now, I think I'm going to go on radio silence after this, and I'm not going to watch any more trailers because I already don't watch
Yeah.
trailers. So
Right. You're at that point where enough's enough.
yeah, but I've watched each of these trailers probably like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Just to kinda
excited.
see. Yeah, so
I'm
far.
excited. They find a shoe, and you're like, you need to get out of there. It's every Black Comics breakdown of only white people go into
Yes.
these types of places.
Right.
It really is. But in this instance, because they're idiot kids.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
Right.
You don't do that. You don't map out the murder zones that
Yeah.
they showed in the first trailer, where he's doing a presentation on the old projectors they had when I was a kid.
Yeah.
They take those transparencies and you could write on it. It projects it
That's
onto
right.
the wall.
No, those days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he flops it down on like, look, the murders all line up, and you're like, you shouldn't do that. What
wrong
what
with
kid has this hobby? This isn't good.
The other thing, well, okay, that's good. I think we've talked enough about that. The other thing we're excited about, this is my segue.
By the way, thank you for giving me the travel visa to come to the nation.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate it. I brought
You're
my
welcome.
passport.
Thank you, man.
It's in the car.
Dude, you are always welcome in the nation, man. Please.
love it.
You are what do they call it? Highest status? You're the Congressional Medal of Freedom. Like whatever it is that allows you to go in and out
So
of the
basically, I have the highest unofficial. You're the only official of this country?
nation. Yes. You're the highest unofficial clearance.
I love it. Your control on power is so tight. You squeezed out everybody else. Good for you.
I'm like Trump firing people off my
Good
staff
for you.
But the biggest reason why I want to have Matt come on is to talk about the NBA. So let's talk about that now, man. What is your feel? Like what this?
Talk to me. Your team's still in it.
Yeah, my Wizards are still in it. Sure, your team would have been in it if Rondo hadn't gotten hurt. I really believe
Possibly.
that, dude. I really believe that.
But
you can't.
I think we take him 7.
You
for
can't
sure.
discount floor generalship. You just can't. And Rondo he was in their minds, dude. He was in their fucking minds.
Yeah, it looked like, because I don't like them as a number 1 seed.
By the way, Matt's a Chicago Bulls fan.
Yeah, I'm a Bulls fan.
Washington Wizards fan. So go, yeah.
And welcome to NBA Talk.
Yeah, welcome to NBA Talk.
The podcast that we have brought up doing 17 times.
Right.
It's just like, I don't.
And Chris Alexakos, I think his name, said he would fund the whole thing if we did it. So there you go.
Yes, he did on more than one occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, guys, I'll pay for this. Stop being lazy. Yeah, but then it's work.
Right.
We're already doing, at that point, we're doing like 5 shows a week
We
of
really
top
were.
10 and reviews.
It was
and
nuts. Thunderdome.
Thunderdome.
Yeah.
It's like, this is kind of a full-time job. It's not paying us.
No, it wasn't. At the time, it wasn't paying us.
No.
Thunderdome. All right, so what do you think?
I mean, tonight is it.
Yeah? Do you
Tonight-
think whoever wins this, the
100%.
Wizards-Celtics game tonight is going to win the series?
Don't you feel that way?
I don't know. I don't know because it's been such a wonky fucking series, and especially last night after the Rockets, like they had that game. I couldn't believe how much they were hanging with the Spurs, and then the Spurs somehow found a way back without Leonard in
Yeah.
the fourth quarter and
See,
in overtime.
I knew the Spurs were going to win.
Yeah, you did?
Just
Okay.
watching it, because the Rockets are a high variance team.
Yes.
Because if they're hitting 40 to 42% of their threes,
Yeah.
because they take 40 to 45 threes,
Yeah.
that is a lot of extra points.
Exactly.
And what was it, game 1, when they destroyed them, they only
Yeah.
took shots from in the paint,
Yeah.
3-point line, free throw line.
Yeah.
There were no 2s outside of the paint.
It's madness, dude.
It's Daryl Morey, exactly what he wants.
Yeah.
And when it works well, that's the thing. This is,
Oh, it's beautiful to watch.
yeah, they're the only team to me that could pick off a game or 2 from the Warriors.
Yeah? You think? You don't think the Spurs can do it?
Maybe.
Okay.
But I think because the Rockets can't have that ability to shoot 40-something%
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
from 3, and they shoot that many threes, they can shoot with anybody.
Yeah. I agree with you completely.
They were still close.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those, last night, what do they shoot? 20-something%, and it's just like, okay, it's not your night, and
Right.
you're neck and neck still, but the Spurs this is kind of their basketball at this point with all these, everybody's hurt, and it's kind of a scrappy, cobbled together team on some level.
Yeah. I was so surprised that Ginobili drank from the fountain of youth for one night. But then Tony Parker did the same thing against Memphis. So they've got these old road warriors that still have one last game in them, one last really great game to get them over the
Just jinxing Ginobili so bad. You're
He's
saying-
old, man. He's 39.
He is old.
Yeah. Parker went down because he's done. He's done.
Yeah, no, he's out.
You're right. He's out, but he's done.
gone.
He should not come back.
He had a non-contact injury,
That tells
and
you
it's a
everything.
strange non-contact injury.
Yeah.
So even when he comes back in 8 months, he's a guy, he's like a slot receiver.
Yeah.
He's got speed, and once that speed fades and you're not faster than everybody anymore, you can't juke your way out of too much.
Nope. You're playing at the XFL.
Unless you're Isaiah Thomas and you're allowed to carry the ball as bad as Iverson.
Good God, man.
It's the NBA. You can't complain because it's
Right.
the NBA, and
Right,
that's
right,
allowed
right.
to happen. A lot of people don't take as much advantage of it.
Right. But how do the Cavaliers look to you? Like, do they look like, even with the defensive issues, do you think they really still have a shot to
No.
take out the Warriors? No.
No.
You don't think so?
I said this last year. I was this cocky about it.
Yeah.
But their defense is so bad, even if they turn it up.
Yeah.
So now it's LeBron and a bunch of shooters, and they need to be able to outshoot the Warriors.
Right.
Are they going to be able to do that 4 times because their defense isn't stopping them?
Yeah.
So it's a different team than last year.
Yeah.
And as of right now, I don't believe you have the maybe you could take a game. Maybe.
Bro, you think it's going to be 4-1?
Because
You think Cavaliers,
5 games.
Either way, the Cavaliers are going, you think. Cavaliers,
Yeah.
Warriors, you think. No one's going to stop them.
I think Toronto had the best shot to knock them off.
I was so surprised how they manhandled Toronto. I was
Yeah.
surprised out of my mind. I thought Toronto was going to take them to 6.
Is it like a European delivery service that's flashing past? You know what I mean?
They're all the best.
Souped up
Ciao.
moped.
Ciao. Yeah. But like, I was so surprised at how Toronto, because I thought they made all those moves to get a PJ Tucker, get Ibaka. Like, I thought they had made all the moves and correct moves to like clamp down on defense. But when the Bucks exposed them, I was worried. Then I thought, oh, maybe they won't be taking the Cavaliers to 6. But I didn't anticipate a sweep. Like, a sweep shocked the hell out of me.
Well, listen, right now, your team, my team, and just about everybody else not named the Cavs, needs to start worrying about the Bucks.
Yeah.
Because that team is ridiculously scary.
Yeah.
And Jabari comes back, and
they did this without Jabari.
Exactly. And fuck you, Milwaukee. Like, the rest of us need to band together and figure out what we're going to do about Germany here.
That's right.
Because once Germany pokes its head up, we're all fucked, guys. We're all fucked. So let's join together now. I don't like anything. And I went to see the Bucks play the Clippers.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
And, Antetokounmpo casually put up almost a triple-double, and it felt like he did nothing. Like, after the game, it was like, wow, he had better stats than I thought. He was just affecting the game so much. You don't even – and they got so many good guys. Oh, man, I don't like anything about it.
I think Anthony Davis on the Pelicans looks at the Bucks and gets angry.
Yep.
Because that's what should have happened for him.
That's such a good –
Right? Don't you think? Like, he's like, why couldn't you fucking do this for me?
He's screwed.
Yeah, he really is.
He is screwed.
He's got to get out of there,
Since
man.
day one, they took the Cavs blueprint with LeBron.
Yeah.
We're going to surround you with average veteran talent and waste all our cap space.
Right.
And try and chase a playoff. No, bottom out, get another maybe guy or two.
Yep.
Or strategically trade and get better younger. Like, you can take our badass veteran. We'll take your 2 young guys, and maybe they pay off.
Exactly.
Like, let's build around this guy.
Yeah. And they didn't do that. And you see that happening with the Bucks. And like you said, without Jabari, like, that's that game. And Jason Kidd, props to Jason Kidd for coaching this team, man. He had no experience, 0 experience as a coach, was able to walk off the court. He made his mistakes, his freshman mistakes, that whole like throwing the water on the ground, or mustard stuff, like all that shit. But like, it's on the job training. But he was able to take that team to the playoffs the first year. They obviously didn't do so well last year, but this year, even with the Jabari injury, they're able to get into the playoffs and scare the Raptors. They legitimately scared the Raptors, man.
Yeah, the Raps. I mean, I was like, all right, I think they could get 6 games out of them for sure.
Yeah.
And depending on how well they play, because they'll be down in the series at that point.
Yeah.
If they can hold it together in Game 6, then they got to get shot in Game 7.
Right.
And it just was like, nope.
Yeah.
And now I don't know what they do.
Yeah.
Because they're the kind of the same place the Clippers are in.
Yep. Yeah.
We have all this older talent. Do we want to just basically stay the 3 or 4 seed for the next 3 years?
Yeah.
Or do we try and tear this down and build around DeMar?
About DeMar
DeRozan.
DeRozan, right? Because Lowry might go. There's rumors
He's
that Lowry's
31.
And he's going to reject the player option so he can be a free agent.
Rightly so.
Yeah, exactly. Test the market.
He's from Philly.
Yeah.
Maybe Philly sniffs at him.
The process.
The Bucks would be wise to sniff at him.
That's true.
He's got his list of suitors.
That's true, yeah. Would the Lakers be? No, because D'Angelo is their point, right? It's not.
Unless they can get a better point guard at the top of the draft this year.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
not.
I think anyone is expendable if they can get a better talent at their position in this
That's true.
draft.
But Kyle disappears in the playoffs, man. Him and DeRozan are shit in the playoffs. It's when I was reading the stats on theringer.com, and I was like, I didn't know. This is insane how bad they are in the playoffs. Like, they literally mentally turn off, man. It's like Ovechkin for the Capitals in hockey. Like, when Ovechkin gets in the playoffs, all of a sudden he becomes like a journeyman, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What happens in the switch? You know. So
I know that name, but I don't watch hockey, so I don't know how much of the switch. Of like, are we talking about like a goal every couple games, or is he an assist man?
No, he wins like he wins like the MVP trophy almost every year. Like, he's in contention almost every year because he scores a shit ton of goals, has a shit ton of assists. He's a great player in the regular season.
Okay.
But once it goes to the hockey, once it goes into the playoffs, he kind of disappears and he gets all tentative and hesitant, and he's just a different player when he gets in play because the pressure seems to get to him. You know, so I think that's what happens with Lowry and DeRozan. They have all this pressure on them, and ever since Paul Pierce said game in their face and hit that winner over them when he was playing for Brooklyn, I think they haven't recovered mentally from being able to play in the playoffs because so much pressure on them. And Uzuri does a nice job building a team, but he didn't take Denver to the finals, so I don't know how he's going to take Toronto to the finals.
Yeah, but at the same time, the team he built, you believed until you saw that.
Yeah.
They had actually built something. Mm-hmm. They had taken and they had spun a lot of decent assets to actually acquire and get better.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't just throw away the entire future to get modestly better this year.
Right.
They did it well.
Yeah.
Basically, they did the opposite of what I thought Portland should do in the offseason last year.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Where they spent a ton of their cap on guys that just ended up not playing or contributing all that much for them until they got what's his name from Denver.
Yeah.
And
Nurkic? Was it Nurkic? No, Nurkic stayed.
I get them all confused.
Yeah. It's because you're old.
Jokic?
Jokic.
Is
That's
it
right.
Joker?
Nikola Jokic. That's right.
Yeah.
That trade helped both teams, both Denver and Portland, which is why it was ironic that they were fighting for the 8th seed at the end, because that trade is the reason they were both fighting for the 8th seed, which was great. So the Warriors, do you think it's just they're just so stacked? They have so many ways to attack you, right?
Well, no, I just think because their defense didn't drop off with KD in there like everybody anticipated, and their defense is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And now they have Kevin Durant.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's just ridiculous.
That's why people get pissed at it, and you're like, come on, enjoy the brilliance of this team.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks. It sucks that I'm kind of happy my team is in 8th in the East.
Okay.
And we're not actually like expending those few caliber badass years where you think you have a shot going up against Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Green.
Yeah.
That foursome alone.
Let me ask you something on the West. Do you like Utah? Do you like what they did? Do you like Gordon Hayward? Do you like Rudy Gobert? Do you like what they're doing there?
Do you want him to stay?
Hayward?
Yeah.
I think you have to keep him.
Oh, no, you have to. I'm saying
right.
If you were Hayward.
Oh, if I was Hayward.
Yeah. Do you stay?
Where do I go? Durant is
Boston.
already in with the Warriors. But Boston is in an interesting situation because Isaiah Thomas is not going to take me to a title. He's 5'9". We're not, or 6'9". We're not going to win a title with a guy who's that small.
If they can wait till after the draft, they might be able to get the number 1 pick or something ridiculous because they got Brooklyn's.
Well, they got all those assets too that they can turn over. So
if they got another point guard of the future, Isaiah, we're not going to max you.
Right.
That's the question. Like, do they max him? Can they hold him off to after the draft, or does he want the max beforehand? Because then it might affect who they would draft.
I mean, if Kyle Lowry and Gordon Hayward, and then the rumors are Blake Griffin with the trade, goes to Boston, that's a whole other ballgame, man. That's a fantastic team, I think. You got to get a
What
center.
is the trade? I haven't heard that.
Well, the rumors are the Clippers are going to try and the Celtics are going to try to trade for Blake with the assets with the Clippers. They're going to try and trade Blake because, like, right now you just said earlier, like the Clippers are going to blow this whole thing up. Like, it makes no sense to bring those three of them back.
They can't though.
You don't think so?
Because they have no draft picks and they have not developed any young assets. So if they blow it up, what are they getting?
Well, I think you just start over, man. Ballmer has all that money. You start over. And I think almost like you let go of Doc, too. Like you start the whole thing all over.
Well, I think you take Doc off the GM job.
Yeah, absolutely.
The fact that it's...
Absolutely.
Yeah, because they could be in a much better position right now than they are.
Yeah.
By not making certain choices that he made. Like, it's the old Doc syndrome that everybody's making fun of for the past, like 6 years.
Right.
He had a good game against me when I coached in Boston.
Yeah.
I'm going to get him on my team.
The only guy I've seen do that effectively is Bill Belichick with the Patriots. That's the only thing I've ever seen here where a player has a great game against him. He knows exactly what player to bring on because a lot of players have great games against the Patriots, but he knows which ones to pick off the stockpile to bring in to be contributors. He's just very smart about that, and I don't think Doc is absolutely because he gets them like 5 years past their sell-by date.
Yeah.
They contribute nothing. What is Paul Pierce? He was basically a scarecrow on that team, man. He did nothing for that team.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, he really was.
That's a great way to put it.
He just stood out there to scare you with the ghost of Paul Pierce.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he really couldn't step up there.
Yeah, the specter of the truth.
Of the truth, right, exactly.
I was never a big truth guy. You didn't
like Paul Pierce?
I didn't dislike him.
Right.
But when everybody was like, "Oh, he's my favorite player," and I was like, "Wow, there's so many better players to choose from."
I agree,
I'm not knocking on him, but it's just like, wow, your favorite. I mean, if you're a Boston fan, I get it.
Yeah.
But it's not. He was never a guy that I coveted. I wish he was on my team.
I didn't. Even when Antoine Walker, I would have chosen Walker over Pierce.
Walker's a lot more fun.
Yeah, that's why I like.
I still do the shimmy after I make a three when we play. Sometimes only like 1 out of the 10 guys gets it.
Right. But Walker was great, man. I still do the Larry Johnson grandma mile whenever I hit a three, which is very rare. Very rare.
That's a good one.
I hit one every once in a while. And what do you? So do you think my Wizards have a shot against the Cavs?
No.
Like to take 1 or 2? They played them really tight all year, man.
I mean, it comes down to, at this point, I trust Wall.
Yeah, he's so good.
He is.
Dude.
I love John Wall.
God,
I love John Wall.
I haven't loved a Wizards player this much, Wizards/Bullets player in years. Like Gilbert Arenas, that year he took us to the playoffs and was fantastic. I loved him for that year, but no one like John Wall. John Wall is a legitimate professional. He doesn't have this nutty shit around him like Arenas did, and so I love that.
Dude. I saw John Wall one time. They were playing. I want to say it was the Lakers. I saw him a couple of years ago. They came to town here and got cheap tickets. Hey, let's go.
Of course.
And it was they were passing the ball in, and he's obviously getting it.
Yeah.
Lakers player came up to try and steal it, and Wall has he's at so if he's running up court, the baseline is behind him. He starts and he's pivoting in that direction.
Yeah.
And the Lakers guy comes in under him, and he does a in-air 270. And he hasn't put his pivot foot down, so he grabbed the ball in the air, did a 270, it landed perfectly. Now he's in line to run down, and just, like a lightning bolt, just flew down the court, and you're like, that was one of the coolest things I have ever seen. Just the grace and speed and athleticism with which he did that. You know, it's like I haven't seen Westbrook live.
Yeah.
And sometimes when he sees the angle and he just kicks it into a gear, and you're like, God, I love this guy.
Yeah, really, you have no choice.
Yeah,
you have no choice.
And he throws it down. Like sometimes when he screams, I'm at home going, yes, that was completely deserved, man. That was so incredible. Just like the ferocity with which you did that.
Yeah.
Oh.
When Russell screams like that, I discover muscles I never thought I had. Like I flex, like you're like, oh shit, I didn't know that was in there.
That oop from Durant like 3 seasons
ago.
Oh
man!
Towards the end, it was either the end of the season or in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think it might have been in the playoffs. And Durant throws it up, and he just comes out and does a half windmill, grabs it, and throws it down. You're like, oh my God!
It was a thing of beauty, man.
Yeah,
such a thing of beauty. All right, so what's your prediction for the finals?
It's going to be Warriors Cavs.
You're like, well, what do you think though? 5-1. I mean, sorry, 4-1 or
4-1 because I'll make it a gentleman's sweep.
I think the Cavs win again. I think Draymond Green does something stupid. I think that shit he said the other day about like, oh, the Cavs aren't beating anybody. We're beating these amazing teams. That's the kind of shit that fucks up the Warriors, I think. And people think it motivates them. I don't think so. I think you don't want distractions when you play as a team. And I think he's a dangerous distraction. Like, he's great. He does that triple-double against Utah to help them win the series. It's great. Draymond, but when the stakes are high, especially someone like LeBron, people fucking hate LeBron, man. People hate LeBron. They have this anger towards him. And so I could see LeBron kind of needling Draymond until he finally makes a mistake. That's what I think. That's my opinion.
The sad fact of the matter is you would hope Draymond would have learned from his mistakes.
Right.
You're not wrong. I can't sit here and tell you, be like, that's not going to happen. We've already seen it happen.
Yeah, it's certainly possible, at least. Yeah.
Like last year when people were up in arms about him getting suspended, because the problem is he should have been suspended in the Oklahoma City.
Damn right he should have been with Steven Adams.
Yeah, the second time you kicked him in the Huevos, was the Huevos. It was that was full on. I'm going to kick this guy in the balls.
Yeah.
That was dirty, and it was shitty.
Here's the deal. Those of us who've played basketball, we know what he was doing. We've played basketball with people like that.
Yeah.
We know what the fuck
we don't invite them to play anymore.
No, we don't. Because they give the same excuses when it happens. I was just going up for the ball. I was trying to shoot.
Oh, it's like
nobody shoots
the
like that.
Bruce Bowen where he'd put his foot out underneath you after you went up for a jump shot, so you'd land on it and potentially you'd be in fear of it.
Yeah.
At the very least, and occasionally somebody would land on it and roll their ankle.
Yeah.
Horribly.
Kobe.
Yeah. Being the biggest of them.
Yeah.
Just that's some cheap shit. You used to play with a guy like that, and basically we all kind of stopped talking to him.
Yep.
And he eventually just got the hint and stopped showing up.
A guy tried to do that to me once when I went up for a rebound, and I saw it in time, and I moved my foot so I could hit his knee instead on the way down. Because I was like, fuck you. You're going to try to bust my ankle? I'm going to break your fucking leg. When you see it, because it's dirty. I really hate when people play dirty, man, because basketball is a beautiful fucking game, man.
The place you went to mentally when you kneecapped this motherfucker. Is that the same place you go when you're going to take out JTE at your Buddhist temple?
Yes.
Is that really where Outlaw Nation is?
Outlaw Nation.
You kneecap some dude.
Listen, don't try to take out my ankles, man.
Yeah.
Because I injured my ankles all the time playing basketball. I twisted my ankles all the time because I'm a big man and I play inside. And so when I'm jumping up, sometimes you're landing on people's feet or people's calves and shit, sliding off, and so I tape my ankles up so much now because that's the worst pain I've ever experienced in my life is cracking the ankle twice, once on the right hand side, once on the left, and it's screaming, crying pain. It's no joke.
Yeah, no, thank you.
It's the worst, man. That's why I play. But that's my game. I'm not a shooter like you guys. I got to play inside. I bang. I get rebounds. I get those layups.
I'm an okay shooter. I'm a former
You drive to the basket?
Yeah. Drive to the basket. I'm really good about like, okay, if that closes off, I can do fadeaway floaters from the baseline.
Right.
I can do that or my post game is actually decent, especially for a guard.
Yeah.
Because I've lived down there, so sometimes you get closed off and boom, a couple pump fakes, pivot foot, boom. I can go in left-handed or right.
Right.
I get the basket.
It's your game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, like getting older, anytime I've been injured, it's because I've been down defending somebody down in the paint.
Yep.
It's the only time I've ever been injured.
The paint's no joke, man. I've had so many elbows thrown into my back and shit like that down there, or into my ribs. Like, it's just how it works down there. You just got to accept it as part of the game.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our talk of NBA. Matt thinks 4-1 Warriors. I think 4-3 Cavaliers. I think it's
so
7
still
games.
7.
Yeah, still 7. Absolutely.
And they've got to win it in Golden
State. Again, I think it's certainly possible.
You want to put some money on that?
No, I don't ever bet about sports. One time I lost my rent money in a Cowboys-Redskins game in the 90s. Never bet again. I was like, nope, because I had to borrow money off the parents to pay rent.
Just cut it off.
Embarrassing. Yeah. Just cut it off. That's what I did. All right. I do want to talk about one thing before we get to questions real quick. Matt, do you want to weigh in on the Comey stuff? Sally Yates, do you want to weigh in on anything? What's happening? Like, what's your feeling on that? We can skip it if you don't want to weigh in on it, but I'm asking you.
The Yates, I've only seen one 1-minute clip.
Okay.
I didn't really read that much. According to my Facebook, she destroyed the room and then lit it afire and pissed on the ashes afterwards.
Pretty much.
I can't believe that even remotely happened. That has to be a severely skewed LA perspective, considering they're the bulk of my friends on Facebook.
Fair. That's fair.
So, and from Hollywood, West Hollywood, Santa Monica, like North Hollywood, that's where primarily my friends live.
In the southern states, they think the 2 Texas senators like tore her to pieces and set her on fire.
Oh, really? Yeah, it makes sense.
It's all the perspective.
It's all perspective.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I haven't watched it, so I don't have the slightest clue what happened.
Okay. But what about the Comey thing? What's your feeling on that?
Severely interesting.
Right?
Just in that, like, I love politics, but I hate politics.
Yeah.
I hate the fervency with which people attack each other. And I just hate somebody blindly, not even taking into consideration why they feel the way they feel or whatever else. Politics will drive you to that, just like religion will.
Yep.
It's an unfortunate, side effect. But the political maneuvering and the real reason, like, okay, so why did he do this?
Yes.
And right now there are grand jury subpoenas out. And they only do that if A, they think that you committed a crime, or B, you are directly third party and know firsthand knowledge, a third party to a crime.
Yeah.
And this is as serious as it gets.
Yeah.
They know you're implicated in a crime somewhere.
Yep.
Show up and tell us what the fuck side you're on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're screwed.
Well, that's what I feel like is happening here. Like, I think, like, it feels so reminiscent of Nixon that it's just mind blowing to me, and especially because
110 days in.
Yeah, I know.
112 days in.
I know with Nixon stuff, like Nixon stuff is almost better because Nixon stuff was out of paranoia. And he was going to destroy McGovern either way. It didn't matter. He just needed to have this information in his mind. This is something else. This is selling us out to a foreign power, and that's madness to me. Like that's beyond the pale, And so that's what scares me. It's not. I'm not choosing sides here, like Republican, Democrat. It's not what it's about. It's about America, man, and that's what frustrates the shit out of me because I'm just like this. He's firing everybody who investigates him. He's firing, and people on the right, most people on the right are just like, that's, you guys had issues with them too, and it's like that's not what this is about. That's not what this is about.
But I think from their perspective, where they're trying to defend him, it's to them. I can see the perspective of it's only 112 days in.
Right.
Maybe he really is, after assessing all these things, says this person is inept, this person is inept, this person is. Now, had he presented it in that fashion, as opposed to just wildly doing it and top staff are uninformed, there's only a few people that know this is going to happen.
Right.
I mean, that's what's weird to me. You could make the case and be like, well, you got a clean house, but I don't know. It's suspicious timing. It's all very interesting, and I can't wait to find out what actually happened because that's the beauty of it. It's too big now.
Yeah.
We will find out.
You think so?
Yes.
Oh, God. I don't know. I'm worried because he keeps firing everybody who gets close. As soon as they get too close, they get fired. And that worries the shit out of me, man, because I don't know how much they're covering up and how many other senators or how many other business people are connected to this, and if it comes out, how many careers could really get destroyed?
Yeah, but the thing is, the senators and congressmen are already out now trying to defend Trump care.
Yeah, they are.
And
that's failing.
Yeah, well, I mean, people aren't enjoying that discussion.
No, they're not.
I read an account of an Iowa congressman that showed up to his district.
Yeah.
His staff screened all the people coming in to make sure that they were residents of his constituency.
Yeah.
Which people had a problem with, but at the same time, like, okay, he can make that argument, and that's fine.
Of course. He's got a right to.
Yeah, he does. And the two accounts that I read were basically people were demanding answers on Trump care and not getting them, and upset about that and saying that's false. What you're saying is incorrect, and just wanting answers, the same basic questions answered. And they were getting it. They were upset by that fact. So they're already out doing a job they don't want to enjoy.
Yeah.
And now you expect them to defend the president on top of that. You've seen Republican senators and congressmen all give, public quotes saying, I don't like this.
Yeah.
This isn't a good thing.
They're uncomfortable.
Yes.
That's as close as they'll come to saying, holy shit, this is nuts.
So it comes down to the fervor of the American people.
Right.
If they stay pissed about this for the next 2-3 weeks, well, it only builds. Right. And they're already fighting one front on a war. Now the president's asked them to fight two fronts, and they're not going to do it, more than likely.
Yeah, and it seems like a calculated thing what they've been doing to kind of, like, from the beginning. It is true what he says, that he's keeping his promises. But those promises are so far out in the realm of what we've had before. Like, there's no progression to these points. He's just doing it. Do you know what I'm saying? Which is really unsettling, and he has people behind him who's helping him do it. But also, it's really strange to see some of these people recuse themselves, get fired, step down, that are involved in the Russia situation. So it's almost like he's walking that line on both sides, like this idea of, yes, I'm going to do what I want to do, but then like when the public gets really upset about someone, then I'll fire them. Like Michael Flynn or all that kind of stuff that kind of relates to everything. Yeah. So it's like with Comey is different because Comey was leading the investigation, and he's using the Hillary Clinton thing, which is one of the weakest arguments on the history of the planet.
Because he was all for it when it was happening.
Yeah, exactly.
It
helped him get elected.
Yes.
Right. Now all of a sudden he's like, I didn't like the way he handled the emails. Shut the fuck up. Like that's what bothers me is there's no logical reasoning. And people like McConnell came out today. McConnell, he's like, there'll be no independent investigation. And that to me is like, well, that's you just trying to hold on to power. And that scares me because the people on the left now, they're not sitting around the campfire doing the kumbaya shit anymore. Like they're really pissed, and anything can happen now. And that's what scares me is rebellion, revolution, stuff in the streets. Like that's certainly possible because like you said, Matt, earlier, the fervor, the anger that's there with politics now, I think it's at a level that it's never been ever in the history of our country.
Well,
more is at stake.
I mean, I can say with some certainty since I've been an adult.
Yeah.
Or at least cognizant of, because I started liking politics when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too.
I used to watch the news with my dad.
Absolutely.
So I was aware of Reagan probably, by the time I was 6 or something, 7 or something. Mm-hmm. And then, like, I remembered something because I was talking about the French elections with my wife. And she was like, oh, why is it a big deal? And I've been following it because, to be honest, where did I see it? I think I saw John Oliver talk about it. Yeah. And then I went and read a bunch of different articles, and then from there on, I was intrigued. I'd never heard of it. Yeah. And explaining that to her, talking about politics, and I completely lost what set me down that path. So how were you? Utterly lost.
Did I lose you? Did you lose yourself?
I lost myself.
Oh, there we go.
I went down the rabbit hole and I was like, hold on, I thought I knew the way. There was at 2 lefts and a right.
Well, I was just saying that it's just a fervor of politics, how the revolution, and is there going to be that kind of thing? Are there going to be protesting, more than just protests in the street, but like bombs and people arming themselves and attacking the government or representatives? Like, are people going to? Yeah, dude, I think the anger is at that level where people are really considering this possibility, man. Like, remember what happened when the Nixon stuff happened? Like all these people who were like peace-loving people in the 60s, when the 70s came, they started like, setting bombs and doing those kinds of things, like rebellion in a certain way. And I think politics really gets inside people's bones and skin, or blood rather, and they want to do these kinds of things. I'm worried about it. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm scared that it's going to that place because Trump and his people are being so dismissive of the other side, like so asshole-ish dismissive of the other side, that I think that sparks a fervor, man.
I got to assume that they think that about the left. Look at these assholes talking down to us, telling us we're constantly wrong. Like,
yeah. Oh no, I believe
we're
that.
Terrible people for what we, the views we hold, and we're less than them. And fuck you. Like, How do you start a dialogue when both sides think the other side is basically just flipping them off the whole time?
Yeah. That's what I talked about on the first episode of this podcast. It was like we have to find that middle ground, and I don't know how we're going to do it, but certainly because the TV networks don't want to do that because that doesn't equal ratings. Finding the middle ground does not equal ratings. It's the ones that are like sparking the argument and that's what's going to get the ratings. And that's unfortunate. If we could create a separate network where people could come on and have logical, intelligent discourse where you're not using sound bites, you're not denigrating the person who's talking. That's what we need. And that's what's missing from our discourse now, because people are choosing sides, man, fervently.
I think if it got that bad, basically if it threatened taking away NFL football, if the populace got so upset, the NFL was like, we have to cancel the season because we can't guarantee safety at our stadiums. And
no, that's actually legitimate. Now I stopped laughing. Now that's actually legitimate.
Yeah.
That could happen.
So if you were to cancel something like that all Creed enjoy and be like, whoa, guys.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? I'm willing to fight you, but if we start taking away, like if the society breaks down and you take away some of the conveniences that people need to get through life,
yeah,
then they're willing to renegotiate and be
That's
like,
a fair point.
you know, that middle finger's only at half mast.
my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
I looked with the shadow, the sun, it looked way bigger. Let's sit down and talk. We got to do something here. I don't see our society crumbling because we're used to a certain style of life, so we just got to learn to basically live with each other.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, fucking, my wife and I still drive each other up the wall, and that's only going to continue. And I love her more than any person alive.
Yeah.
So, but there are certain things where she's just like, oh, you did this, and you're like, I did do that. I know that I was going to try and not do that. Like,
Right.
For a while there, I was putting the seat down 80% of the time. But that last 20% was just like, left the seat up.
What was the issue?
Yeah. Now I just do it everywhere. I did it in your bathroom
Thank
when
you.
I used it before. Yeah,
I appreciate
put the seat
that.
down.
I
Not a
appreciate
problem. Now I just do it.
That's right. All right, that's a great way to end the conversation there. Matt, I asked the fans to send some questions in. So just do rapid fire because we have because we're almost at we're at an hour and 15 just us talking. So I want to make sure this podcast doesn't go too long. All right, Caleb Davis. So these are questions from you guys. Thanks so much for posting them on Facebook, and I'm going to ask a few of them. I don't know if we'll get to all. We won't get to all of them, obviously, but I'm going to ask a few of them and that I picked out and highlighted, and we'll see how we answer. We're going to do a rapid fire. All right, Caleb Davis. What motivated you both to push for the team titles, and what do you plan to do about the Patriots? I think we already talked about that, didn't we?
Yeah.
We're going to kill them.
We want to win.
Yeah.
We want to take down the Paper Tigers.
Yes, the Paper Tigers. Yes,
That's what
right.
they are.
Little George Plimpton reference.
All just bluster, and then actually you provoke them at all. You come back at them, they will just tear apart, tissue in the wind.
I want to destroy JT because he keeps saying that he's beaten me in every format. Motherfucker, you've never faced me one-on-one, and when we beat you this time, I'm still not going to credit it as beating you. Until I kick your ass one-on-one, it's not going to be. I'm not going to be sated. I'm not going to be satisfied.
You're taking the gentleman's approach.
Yes, absolutely.
Add that to the nation. You know what I mean? When you go to your zone place, there's also the gentleman's area.
There's always going to be a gentleman's area.
Okay.
You got to calm down.
I don't know what's on the nation.
No, it is.
What do we got?
It's a nice smoking room, little lounge music playing.
Okay.
Yeah, little soft red velvet chairs with a smoking jacket.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, of course.
Now, do you have to bring your own? Or do you have somebody that can check you
No,
one?
of course. There are closets. There are
There are
for your
closets.
sizes.
Climate controlled. You know what I mean?
It's climate controlled.
Beautiful.
Yes. And people serving us drinks, of both genders. So I don't want to judge. All right. Antonio Rosado says, "Hey, Mighty Matt, since we're both from Peoria, Illinois, can I ask what's your favorite eating spots there? I miss Steak and Shake. Go team top 10."
Well, you can get Steak and Shake here now.
You can, but I don't know if he lives here.
Yeah. Let's see. Going back, I always love. There's an Italian spot called Rizzi's.
Okay.
It was really good.
Yeah.
And then there was a place. Oh shit! What was that on? I can't remember the name of it. It was an Italian place. It's a guy that used to be a cook at Rizzi's, and he left there and opened his own place.
Yeah.
Makes good food.
Was it Rizzo's?
No. But his calamari, to this day, is the best I've ever had.
Really?
Better than anything I had in Italy.
Wow.
Better than anything I've had in any other city I've ever been to. It is to die for. So when I came in to visit my parents, I'd always go there. And it was by an old Blockbuster Video in a strip mall, but the Blockbuster was gone.
I remember those.
There's a bar around the corner that had like a doctor theme to it, or like a recovery room or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's right in that area. If you're there and you've never had that Italian food and it's still there and it's the same guy, that calamari is dynamite.
Okay, boom.
It's been years.
Kristen Smith, for the tag team matches, do you prep study together at all? We don't. We don't. Sorry, we don't. Matt and I we're just cocky about our knowledge.
I just had the idea of us in jammies or something, and we got pillows, we've got books open.
Who won the best picture
Exactly.
in 1956?
Oh my God, did Jenny call you?
Oh my God.
Tell me everything.
Mikey Solar, Christy Musta asks, what are you guys' most anticipated movies this year? Good question. Is there anything?
Go with yours
Spider-Man?
first.
Spider-Man?
Sure, that trailer.
What about
looks good.
Alien Covenant? Are you looking forward to that or no?
It kind of looks like Prometheus rehash.
Okay.
I'm going to see it.
Okay.
I still enjoy Prometheus with all its terrible flaws.
I really did too.
Yeah.
There are extended scenes in that movie that I enjoyed.
yeah, but there are also extended scenes where you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
How does a scientist go all the way across the galaxy and doesn't understand this whole idea of maps and whatever? That's
It's
stupid.
The scientist that gets lost is the guy that invented the technology.
Exactly.
And he can't, he's like, literally like, I don't know which way. You fucking invented this. You know better than anybody.
That's right.
They see the pile of bodies and they're like, oh, we got to get the fuck out of here. And then they go to the next room they go into has the snake things.
That's right.
The guy that was freaking out the most is now looking at the snake. Looks like a fucking cobra.
Yeah, exactly.
An albino cobra.
Yeah.
And he's like, look at this little guy. She's like, what are you fucking talking about? You just saw a stack of 1,000 bodies.
What's wrong with
This is the only thing that's alive in here. You don't think he just kicked the shit out of
can't put two and
that
two
1,000
together?
bodies?
I
Yes.
got a scientific hypothesis for you. I think he did it.
I know. But then you meet the people that were our forebearers, and
Yeah,
you're like,
that's
oh, this
right.
is super interesting. I like this part.
The machinists or whatever they were, the mechanics.
Yeah.
What about Blade? You're looking forward to Blade Runner as well, and it. Yeah, definitely those. Sorry, so we'll throw those in there. Robert J. Nuzalowski asks, will we see you perform in singles before the Collider Collision? Do you have any? Has Christian reached out to you about a possible match?
I mean, yes, no.
Okay.
I don't know a date. I don't know anything beyond.
Okay. Has he put anyone out there for? Oh, possibly.
There's
Yes.
Yeah.
We can't say it. That's right. Let's see here. Okay. Tanner Roan asks me, what's it like interrupting different interviews? It's the greatest. What about you?
Is it the greatest?
Do you enjoy
I'll
it?
take over for here.
Okay.
I'll be Tanner. So what's it like interrupting all the different interviews?
It's the greatest thing ever. I love it to pieces.
Is it?
Yes.
Do you have a favorite that you've interrupted where you're like, you know what, I just crushed that?
I think our last one we interrupted the Patriots was fucking great.
I think
Because your team communist thing is brilliant, Matt. I
They're
love
communists.
It. They are communists.
They're communists.
Yeah.
And my dream
Yeah.
would be when they come out, we somehow switch their intro music to the old Soviet Union national anthem that I tweeted back at somebody with
Yes,
that.
you did. I watched
Because
it.
that's in my head. I pictured that and that kind of the picture that somebody attached, sent on Twitter too.
Yeah.
It was just, it's Lenin and Stalin.
Yeah.
And, in side profile.
I think we should come out to the Rocky IV music because that's when he fought Drago. We should come out to Rocky IV music this time.
Yeah, but then we give JT the satisfaction of that's a movie he knows, and I
That's
don't
true.
want to start him off on a win.
I just want to hit him in the head with a brick. All
Yeah.
right. Jonathan Caro asks, what was your favorite movie or top 5 movies of 2016? Both John and Matt. Best movie 2000. So let's do this. Best 2017 movie so far. I've got some choices.
Go for it.
Okay. Logan, Get Out, Free Fire, John Wick Chapter 2, and Split. Those are mine. Anything of those? Any of those?
I haven't seen a couple of those.
Oh, really?
One or two. I just couldn't. I was so busy when
Okay.
it came out. I was like,
Okay.
I'm fucking wait. Like John Wick 2, I have yet to see.
Okay. You got to see that. So much
I know.
fun.
I just at that for 3 weeks straight. Right when it came
Yeah.
out for the next 2 weeks, I was swamped.
Did you like Logan? Did you see Logan?
Yeah, I liked Logan.
Ooh. You didn't like it as much as everybody else. Interesting.
Oh, was it Beloved?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it's good.
Okay.
They finally did something fun with the character.
Right.
And a story that I enjoyed. It just sucks that it's on the end.
Yeah, true. That's a good point, actually. That's a great point.
Yeah.
It took him this long to finally get it right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now we're going to lose Jackman.
Yes.
So
that's
this is
true.
the last more
Supposedly.
than this is the last more than likely, unless they give it over to Marvel.
Yeah.
And then he gets to kick ass in the fun universe as opposed to
Right.
carrying Sony's fucking water. It's not Sony's Fox.
Fox, yeah. All right. Jim and Raymond ask, question to Knost. Are there any current trends in either film or television you think have run their course and you want to see them go away for a bit?
Wow, that's a very specific question
Yeah.
that I'd have to sit down and think about.
Okay.
Do you have something off
No,
the top
I
of your
don't.
head?
I don't, because he asked
Like-
you the question.
Yeah,
I didn't spend time thinking about it.
Well, did you see the questions beforehand? Or are you reading
I
these
did,
right now?
I did, but I was
Oh,
like,
you son
I'm not
of a
gonna think
bitch.
about it. Yeah, of
you just
course.
springing these on me.
I'm
You got
highlight, of course.
You got lists on the
Of
side.
course. It's my show. I got to
Yeah,
get it right.
Give me your favorite scene from 2014. I don't.
Well, that's
know.
why I pulled out choices so you could see if any of them were like,
That's true.
that you liked.
Get Out. I was going to watch last week, but
it's so good, Matt.
I know, that's all I've heard.
So good. It'll blow your mind how good it is, dude. Really.
That's what I
was
can't wait for.
surprised.
It's. I'm hoping it's akin to Cabin in the Woods in that
Yeah.
it's like it's two really good movies done
Yeah.
together.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of good comedy and there's a lot of good horror.
There is a good amount of horror, and I saw it with like Allison Williams was sitting behind us, who's the main girl in the movie. I couldn't believe it. Like she was sitting behind us, and when we were done, and we stood up. We saw her, and I was like, "Holy shit!" She was there, BJ Novak from The Office, and she was like, it was so much fun to watch you guys watch the movie.
Yeah.
Because we were like so into it. And then she just was like, you guys made me love the movie all over again. So that was really sweet of her to say.
Oh, how could you not?
Yeah, exactly. Josh Richter asks, what's your favorite top 10 episode? Do you have one that you like think about? Late at night when we all...
I don't know, because I the audios that we just posted to the old SK, the same channel that you're going to.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to in so long.
Yeah, me too.
That only like, oh yeah, I know we talked about this at one point, but I couldn't tell you what episode that is.
Right. Okay.
Because it's different. Like once we walk out of here, I'll remember most of what we said, but there'll be things that I've forgotten. And over time, that'll just, as I do more of these, you're like, oh yeah, I know we talked about certain things, but the minutia of it. I
thought our superhero one was great. And the Pixar one was great, too. I like those two.
Okay.
I really did. Philip Hunt, what is the most heated argument you guys have had about movies? Have we had a heated argument about movies? I don't recall that we ever had.
What?
I mean, the Predator thing.
Had we done a couple of the topics we did on Collider on audio,
we
would have had some arguments.
Yes.
Like with Predator.
Yeah, B-movie.
That would have been a 10-minute argument of, I'm not giving it to you. You're not going to leave my house until it's fucking
That's
on
true.
the list.
I could tell that was there when we were doing it on
We don't have the time.
Yeah, we don't.
I just looked at it and I was like, you motherfucker. By putting it that high, I have to keep it on the list.
That's right.
And I can't bitch too much because otherwise it's just like we got to apologize afterwards, even though no one ever comes up to us and expects it.
No.
There is still this, unsaid of like, guys, keep it to.
That's right.
That's
right. Nelson SB asks, ask Matt Nosta if he still works as Sam Rockwell's cock double. He will know what I'm talking about. Does he know what you're talking about? Do you know what he's talking about?
I think it was an exchange on Twitter.
Oh, how funny.
Something where it's the same joke I've rehashed a couple times where now Sam Rockwell is actually telling people that he looks like me. It's like, no, you got it wrong. Reread the interview. He says he looks like me. It's crazy.
Someone asked me last week, and one of the questions they were like, "Do you what did they say? It's like if Sam Rockwell replaced Matt Nosta on Team Top 10, would you notice it on game day?" And I was like, "No, I don't, but I do it."
Somebody had a great burn on Facebook. Made me laugh my ass off. Really? I read it and I was like, "Dude, that is a beautifully crafted joke." Oh, someone posted the pictures in the Schmoedown the Facebook page.
Yeah,
and it was they'd taken a picture of this 4 Horsemen. Hot sauce, hot salsa at a burrito place or a Mexican place or whatever else. Yes. And I just saw it and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And the first comment was, it's just like their title reign. It's also seasonal because it said seasonal. I didn't notice the seasonal the first time. And I went back and read it. And I was like, oh my, what a great joke. Good for fucking you, man. That is, yeah.
Can't argue.
Just like their title reign. It's also seasonal. Great. You could sell me on the other way of, seasonal first, then title reign, but it hit me way harder because the title reign. What? Where are we going with this? It's seasonal. Fuck. Does that say good for you? Good for fucking you.
You win. Quick. These are even more rapid fire because we're running out of time. Michael Kennedy, are we alone in the universe?
Probably not.
Oh, good. I agree with Matt Nosta. I think so. What is your opinion about the competition in the Schmoedown now? Like, has it increased in your opinion?
Yeah, as you add more players, there's going to be better players.
Yeah.
It's a much wider pool at this point.
Right. Corey Knott wants to know, how did we meet? I told the story last week.
Did you?
They put us together. Matt Nosta and Mark Ellis and Christian Harloff.
It was an arranged marriage.
It was an arranged marriage. It was.
It was. They tried to arrange my marriage once and a half before that.
With a woman.
Yeah.
That time.
And I said, no, thank you.
You did.
Well, and she wasn't interested.
Oh, well, okay. I like it better that you said no.
Oh, I definitely said no.
Okay.
I mean, it was blind to no one that we didn't have chemistry.
Oh, gotcha.
We just didn't.
Okay. But we did.
Yeah.
Damn right.
We got along.
That's right. We got along. David Morris, what has surprised you most about each other? Ooh. I think always it's Matt's. I'm always surprised when Matt's seen a movie that I didn't think he'd see or had seen. Like The Damned United shocked me to pieces.
It's a good movie.
Because you're not a soccer guy. We don't talk about soccer.
I like soccer.
So
I'm going to see...
The Galaxy?
No, not Galaxy.
Oh.
Man City versus is it Barcelona?
Nice.
Coming up.
Yeah.
It's Real
Madrid.
Madrid.
The summer tour.
Yeah, with Ronaldo.
Nice. All right. What's your answer?
I'd like to go see that.
What's your answer? What surprised you most about me?
What surprises me most? Initially, it was when we were doing the Schmoedowns, how much that affected you.
Oh, yeah.
I knew you were taking it seriously, but the fact that it had an effect 4, 5, 6 days later.
Yes.
That you were carrying it with you. I was very surprised by that. I was like, oh, wow,
Mm-hmm.
It sucked. I didn't like it afterwards, like walking out of the room.
Yeah.
But I just was like, all right, I'm going to leave that there.
Yeah, well, you're used to bombing you're a stand-up. Like, that's kind of standard for you. Like, that's how you
Yeah.
make your bones is bombing on stage and then coming back the next night and kicking ass. Me, I don't like to lose. I hate to lose, man. It's a real thing for me.
You bomb less and less the more you do it.
Yeah.
It's either sink or swim.
Right.
So just like anything in life, you're going to be good at it. You just learn how to not do that.
Yeah. Well, every loss I have, I come away and I'm like, okay, I won't do that again. I won't be in that place
You go
again.
back to the Outlaw Nation.
That's
you
right.
Refocus.
That's right. I sit in the smoking room, think about what to do next, and then I go in the training room, which is downstairs. It's all dungeons and spikes and shit. Thomas Coleman asks, is the Top 10 Live in Ghana special ever going to come to fruition?
We need to make it happen.
We really do.
Look, do you know if you know a guy?
Yeah.
Cathal, I know you've been with us for a long time. It seems
That's
like you
true.
might know a guy
Yeah.
in Ghana.
Yeah.
Maybe more than us. I'm assuming more than us because we don't know anyone in Ghana. So
We don't.
maybe you do.
We don't. But they know us, that's for sure.
Set it up.
We're still big in Ghana. I don't care what anybody
And if
says.
you want, I can bring my recorder and we can record in stereo. Just do it up right.
That's perfect. That's done and done, man.
We mic the crowd. We got us mic'd. We
Yeah.
get a nice, ambience around.
One last question I think people want to know. We should probably address it. People want to know, when is this show? When is the Top 10 show coming back? When is the show coming back? What can we say?
We thought it was going to come back like a month and a half ago.
We did.
We had an offer. Somebody was willing to basically do quite a bit for us.
Yep.
I think the only drawback was the location for me.
Yes.
Because
it was way out in the boons.
Yeah, depending on what time of day that we could get access or like line everything up to do.
Yeah.
It might just mean like, okay, yes, it'll only take me 30 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
But then traffic as soon as we're finished is going to be so brutal that now I'm hanging out up here or I'm sitting through 90 minutes.
Exactly.
Just like, it seemed like that's where they're like, we got all this free time here. And be like,
Yeah.
well, there's a reason you got all that free time
That's right.
in those areas.
That's right.
Everybody knows if they do a show that's long enough,
Yeah.
that you're just like, I hope I live on this side of the hill.
Yeah. But there is something going on that we are going to do, and we'll see what happens and how it plays out and if it gets the traction that we'd like it to get, but we're certainly going to have something going on soon. And
Yeah.
if it gets picked up, if people like it, then we'll be doing something soon. So which I look forward to. That'd be a lot. It might not be the Top 10 show, but it'll be something. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Does that feel right?
It has a chance to be a lot of fun.
Yes, agreed. It really does.
It does.
If it works out.
Yeah, I think it could.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun concept.
Yeah.
It comes down to the execution and in certain aspects of it, like, explaining it quickly enough to
Yeah.
where they get it, making it just obvious. Let's just trim the fat. And
Right.
just like it's a few things. Drop you right in. You're ready to go.
Exactly. Okay. There we go. Matt Nosta, thanks so much for coming on the Outlaw Nation.
Thank you very much for having me. It was
Of
a
course.
lot of fun.
You're most welcome. I always love talking to you, brother. Do you want to tell people where they can find you, your social media, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, just hit me up on Twitter at Matt Nosta, MATTKNOST. It's the same for Instagram if you want to go there.
Okay. Are you on Instagram more and more? Or
I mean,
every once in
a
while?
little bit. I post pictures every once and again.
Okay.
I've got a bunch on my phone that I should have already posted, so
Gotcha.
I'll probably just post those.
And then friend on Facebook. Do people friend you? Do you accept the friend request, or are you turning them down?
Sure, but no, go right ahead. But
Yep.
if you actually want to interact with me, it's easier to do it on Twitter because
Yeah.
it's just so direct.
Yeah. You like that direct contact.
It's just easier as opposed to having to go to the site and then click on this and then return here and then
Yeah. Right on.
like the thread on that sometimes can just get ridiculous.
Exactly.
Just like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I can't read through 112 of these responses.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. All right, so that's what I said. Thanks so much, Matt. Really appreciate you coming on the show, the Outlaw Nation. Guys, follow Matt where he said. Keep up with his stuff, and we'll be right back after this musical break.
Hello? I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked good, I would call her. Wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat and a 6'4" parlor.
All right, what did I tell you? It didn't disappoint. All right, Matt Nosta coming on the show. Me and him, we just have chemistry, man. We just have a chemistry that neither one of us could ever explain. Sometimes you just meet somebody. We're two completely different people. Matt and I don't call each other all the time. We don't text each other all the time. But when we get together, we have a great time just shooting the shit because we just look at the world in such different ways, but in ways that we both can like appreciate and understand and enjoy. with each other. So it was great to, because Matt and I haven't done a podcast in a long time, so it was great to kind of do that with him and sit down with him and have this awesome conversation about so many topics. And just like we do, we went on tangents. That's what we did best on the Top 10 show. So it was a lot of fun to do that again with him. I don't think there's anything much more I can add, and I think we've got, the podcast is already long enough as it is for right now. So I just want to tell you guys, thanks again for listening to the second episode of the Outlaw Nation podcast. Tell your friends, tell your family members, put it on your social media, do everything you can to promote this so that we, so they can keep it going and keep it at the numbers that it was at. I mean, the numbers were just such a surprise, so astronomical that I was so humbled by it. And so it made me want to even work harder to make this show better. I think down the road, I'm looking at possibly making this a little more interactive, which maybe I'll read some of your stories, keep sharing them with them, keep sending. If you didn't send it the first time, send it now. Tell me about what you're struggling with. Tell me what you're going through. Let's look. I might have a whole podcast where I just read some of you all's stories with your permission, of course, and just see how the Outlaw Nation, how you guys can come together even more and get to know each other even more and be more connected. And, because we're in the nation, and we're in the nation to tell our feelings, to talk about what's going on in our lives, to be brave, to tell our truths, and that's really important in this world. It's incredibly important. All right, so I want to wish you guys an awesome week. Kick ass. We'll talk to you again in 7 days. Do the things that you need to do. Fight, get there, work harder, and also appreciate how far you've come. Wherever you are in your journey, appreciate how far you've come. Even if yesterday was a shitty day and today's a little bit better, appreciate how far you've come just today. Or if when you're listening to this, you're having a shitty day, appreciate yesterday that you had a good day and you had a great day, or you had at least a medium day even. It was still progress. And that's what matters. It doesn't happen all at once. It's step by step. And sometimes you're going to fall back. Sometimes you're going to go forward. That's just how it is. But keep fighting. So I'm telling you that right now from the bottom of my heart. Thanks again for listening to the Outlaw Nation podcast. Follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Collider Movie Talk, 10 a.m. every Friday. Also the Cinephiles, Cine-Files on iTunes and on Stitcher. And on YouTube, listen to Steve Morris and I break down a classic film. For this week, I think we did All the President's Men. That's coming up on Friday. If you're listening to this on Thursday, that's coming up on Friday. If you're just listening to us, whatever day you're listening to, we just did All the President's Men on Friday. And I can't believe that is some kind of like a coincidence. I can't believe it's not a coincidence, because everything that happened this week with Trump and Comey and Sally Yates and all that going on, it just feels like we're reliving Nixon all over again. It's madness, just absolute madness. So, all right. So that's my thoughts. Always remember one thing, and that is John Rocha is in your corner. The Outlaw is there. The Outlaw, if the Outlaw inspires you in any way, shape, or form, let me inspire you to do that, to keep fighting, and to be who you are. And here's a quote from Theodore Roosevelt. "It is only through labor and painful effort, by grim energy and resolute courage, that we move on to better things." Let that stay with you through the week. It is only through labor and painful effort, by grim energy and resolute courage, that we move on to better things. Remember that quote. Let that inspire you if you have these moments that aren't 100% perfect for you. Let that, kind of find some solace in your heart and give you the strength to keep moving and keep going. All right? Thanks again, everybody, and we will talk to you all next week.